our voyage through patriotism. Today is the day, shouted the sailor. Today we shall set sail. As the sailboat started to glide across the light blue water, a new adventure began. Congratulations, Mrs. Warren, cried the doctor happily. It's a boy. On this May day of 1741, the life of a very successful physician and a very faithful patriot has begun. Like the sailboat making its way through the mouth of the harbor at the beginning of its voyage, Joseph Warren earns a fine education and enjoys a happy childhood with his wealthy family. As the waters are calm, the sailboat is able to make great progress in distance, as Warren is able to make great progress in his goal to become a doctor. Soon the sails are filled with gusts of wind, and Warren's life is filled with the eagerness and the wanting to help others and to make important contributions to the country he calls home. Joseph Warren was one of the many colonists who disliked the fact that England's Parliament governed the colonies. In 1765, King George III approved the Stamp Act. This act was thought to be unfair by the colonists because they were being taxed by a government in which they had no say. This approval was like a great wind which blew Warren into politics. He joined committees and gave speeches which made him well known as an orator. He joined the radicals, which led him to write newspaper articles, to arouse the people's emotions and convince them that England's Parliament did not have the power to tax them. This storm finally died down on March 18, 1766, when the Stamp Act was repealed. Like the strong mast on the sailboat, Warren's strength endured, and because of his strength, he became one of the radicals' major propagandists and chief policy planners. During a starboard attack, another storm arrived. Massachusetts Governor Francis Bernard, a disliked man, was attacked by Warren through letters in the Boston Gazette. After 3 years, Bernard was finally driven from the colony just before the summer of 1769. Little did Bernard know that it was Warren who destroyed his career as a royal governor. In 1768, sailors of the ship Liberty, when in Boston Harbor, illegally removed the wine cargo without paying taxes. A furious custom agent warned the British of this incident. This incident then led to the stationing of royal troops in Boston. These troops caused great trouble for the colonists. On March 5, 1770, a young patriot had been knocked down by a British sentry. This led to a fight between an angry mob and 8 redcoats. 3 men in the mob had been killed and 5 were wounded seriously. This incident was later to be known as the Boston Massacre. Warren knew that the soldiers' actions were wrong. He was later involved in the prosecution of Captain Preston and his men. After a few years in politics, Joseph Warren had gained some important political qualities. He had become a great speaker and writer, and had learned to be patient and wise with important decisions. Because of these attributes, he was often asked for advice and to be on important committees. Like the yardarm of a ship, with its flexibility in allowing the sails to catch every breath of wind, Warren demonstrates his flexibility in being able to participate in various committees. In 1772, the Boston Committee of Correspondence was established. Warren should be given great credit for his contributions to its development and in its success. He was chosen to answer letters to individual colonies, warning them to remain aware of their rights. England decided to tax the colonies again, but this time the tax was on tea. Tea was the biggest money-making product in the colonies. By taxing the tea, England would raise a great deal of money. This action would bring war even closer between the two countries. The colonists showed their anger towards the Parliament by forming a plan that took action on December 16, 1773. It was known as
My favorite patriot of the American Revolution will always be Francis Marion. I was his black servant and best friend. He called me Oscar. We were always best friends, from his birth in 1732 until his death in 1795. We grew up together on his parents' plantation along the Santee River in South Carolina. We used to play and hunt together in the swampy areas around the plantation. Little did we know that this would provide us with invaluable experience for later years. Francis was a good man. I saw him do many things for his country. In 1761, the English governor hired him to help stop a Cherokee Indian raid. He served in the military during the Revolutionary War, and after that, in his state legislature. I'm going to tell you about our experiences during the war. Francis and I were patriots for the colonists. Wherever he went, I followed. On February 22, 1776, Colonel William Moultrie made him a major in his 2nd South Carolina Regiment. In June of that same year, the British Navy attacked Charleston, but Major Marion was prepared. He knew about the attack and had built a fort on Sullivan Island just off the coast. They drove the British fleet away. Francis's leadership ability was recognized, and he was promoted to lieutenant colonel. It wasn't until May of 1780 that the British decided to attack Charleston again. Luckily, Francis took a medical leave of absence because of his fractured ankle. He left the city before the surrender. Almost all the people, soldiers, and supplies were captured by the British. Francis and I were now out of the city. We were on our own. He had no army because the soldiers had all been captured. Francis decided to create his own army. He drafted any man who wanted to fight for the revolutionary cause. It turned out that these men were so loyal that they used their own guns, wanted no pay, and found their own food. The only uniform that they all had was a leather cap with the inscribed words, "Liberty or Death." Later on, this band of men became known as Marion's Brigade. He taught them guerrilla warfare to make swift raids against the British and even quicker retreats back into the swamps. Francis and his men led many raids against the British. His brigade cut their communication, took their food and guns, and rescued American prisoners. Cornwallis, the British general, was harassed by this and ordered Tarleton, another British leader, to eliminate my master, Francis Marion, once and for all. Tarleton chased Marion for many, many hours through the swamps before he gave up. He said in great anger, "But as for this damn old fox, the devil himself could not catch him." This is how my friend got the nickname, the Swamp Fox. Marion made a camp deep in the swamps of the Petee River in South Carolina. It was called Snow Island and was protected by the trees, marshes, and swamps that surrounded it. We continued to pester the British with constant raids, making it more and more of a nightmare for them. They retaliated by finding and destroying Snow Island. The brigade was forced to go south. On April 23, 1781, Marion's brigade captured the British Fort Watson after besieging it for nearly a week. On May 12, 1781, Francis and the brigade used flaming arrows to burn the British Fort Mott. Later that evening, after our victory, we ate, drank, and made friends with the enemy. In the summer, Marion and the brigade joined General Nathaniel Greene. Greene received news that Washington's men were beating Cornwallis's men in the Virginia area. With the help of the French at sea and on land, Washington wanted to corner Cornwallis in Yorktown, Virginia, and end the war. Greene's orders from Washington were to attack the British in the south and to prevent them from going north to help Cornwallis. Greene followed orders. One of these important battles was at the British camp at Eutaw Springs, South Carolina, on September 8, 1781. I believe this to be Marion's greatest battle. Even though the Patriots didn't win, they weakened the British army and kept them from advancing north to help Cornwallis. The British and Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown 6 weeks later on October 19, 1781. The war was officially over. However, fighting continued in Charleston until December 14, 1782, when British ships finally took their soldiers home. Later that day, we said our goodbyes to the men in the brigade. I was sad to see Francis crying as he shook their hands, but happy to know that Francis and I would be going home to Pond Bluff, a place we had purchased before the war. After the war, Francis continued to serve his country. He served in the South Carolina Senate for 4 terms. He commanded Fort Johnson for a while and was a delegate to the state's constitutional convention. He married his cousin, Mary Vidot, in 1786. Once in a while, we'd fish and hunt in the swamps like the old days. Sometimes we would have parties with old war buddies. Life was peaceful and happy now, except for the morning on February 27, 1795, when I found Francis dead. Tears filled my eyes. It was hard to say goodbye to my best friend and favorite patriot of the American Revolution, Francis Marion.
Not enough credit or thanks can ever be given to Barbara Whirlin for all her efforts in the DAR American History Contest. She's honored both St. Martin's School and the Beverly Hills chapter of the DAR, and has certainly produced more winners than any other teacher whose school enters this contest every year. Certainly as long as I have been chairman of this, which is now 10 years, we've had winners almost every single year. And with 4 first-place winners now, I'm sure we're going to continue on and get a winner at the state and the national level. I hope more children next year will participate, as it really is a very wonderful and exciting contest to be in. This year, the Beverly Hills DAR chapter would like to honor Barbara Werlen with a small gift of our appreciation for all her years of service, all the Christmas vacations she's had to give up in order to do this. And so we just want her to know how very appreciative she is.
Whatever it is.
Barbara Werlen, a winning teacher, DAR 1989.
And now the program is over. The winners and their parents, friends, and family are invited to stay and join us in tea. And we shall look forward to seeing you all again next year. Thank you very much.
Brian Held winning BAR.
Excuse me.
Brian is still.
For us, yes.
So what was your view of the DAR this year? Huh?
It was fun.
So, what is your favorite Patriot? The Swamp Fox? Amber, look in the camera. Turn around and look. This is Easter, April, March 26, 1989. Amber, turn around. And Amber is counting her eggs.
Oh, how many do you have, Amber?
Bring the seat over here, please. Put it around. Amber, how many eggs do you have?
13.
How many?
13!
That's good.
Glad you can count.
what are you going to do with the eggs? Kevin, come out here, please. Brian, get on the tape. I want to get you on the tape. Amber. Weak. Okay, Brian, come in here in front of the tape. Don't go down that. You'll rip it apart. No, don't. Here's Brian, almost 14 years old. Come on, Brian, get on the tape.
Hi, everybody. Happy Easter, 1989.
Hi, Daddy. Happy Easter Day.
Happy Easter Day, Amber. Go get Kevin.
Kevin!
It's fun to grow up.
Kevin, check out the jump! Come on, check this jump out.
Where's Kevin, Debbie?
Watch Brian. Good. He's gonna ruin his car.
There's Kevin Held.
You should check out this jump. It's so sweet.
Amber, do you like the car?
That's an Easter duck.
What did you get for Easter, Amber?
Hi, Daddy.
What did you get for Easter?
I got candy and Easter girl, Easter bunny girl. But it was
Follow Brian's car, but it's going too fast. Come on, Brian.
To welcome our friends again from the Beverly Hills chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. It's become a tradition at St. Martin's Shores now to have this occasion celebrated in our own parish center. We have been honored for quite a few years now, and our children just love entering the historical essay contest of the Daughters of the American Revolution. We're very, very proud of you, boys and girls. Very proud of you. We're very proud of the people who were finalists. We are indeed proud of the people who achieved first and second places in the contest. And we're also very proud of every boy and girl who participated in the contest. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the parents of the children for their cooperation and their support. And I would like to thank our teachers at St. Martin of Tours. Mrs. Werlin is the coordinator of the essay contest at our school. She is our social studies coordinator, and she has coordinated this program in conjunction with Mrs. Tatum for many, many years. And we thank her very sincerely because she does a lot of extra work to get this program. May I have a round of applause for Mrs.
Medal on them. In the 5th grade, the first place winner is Brad Simpson. Maybe it doesn't work.
Just take the black and slide it down.
Who am I? I was born the eldest son of 12 children in the small town of Fort Conway, Virginia on March 16, 1751. My ancestors had settled in Virginia during the 1600s. We lived on a large tobacco plantation worked by many slaves. All during my childhood, I was very sickly, which may account for my small and thin 100-pound frame. Most of my early education was spent with private tutors, followed by public schooling. At the age of 18, I attended the College of New Jersey, now known as Princeton University, where my main studies were government and religion. I was able to graduate after only 2 years in 1771. Soon after, my thoughts turned from a career in the ministry. I focused my attention on public service. Entering the world of politics, I was first elected to the Committee of Safety in Orange County, Virginia. Next, I helped draft the new Virginia Constitution and Virginia Declaration of Rights. Among the other positions I held were serving in Virginia's Legislative Assembly, Virginia's Governor's Council, and later elected to the Continental Congress in 1780, of which I was considered its most able member. In the year 1787, I represented Virginia at the Constitutional Convention. Although I was only 36 years old, I played a leading role as a member of this historic body. The goal of the convention was to establish a strong national government for the American states and to define the rights and liberties of its people. Law and order, tax collections, and regulation of trade were among the committee's concerns. The existing government under the Articles of Confederation fell short of these goals. Therefore, I, along with other leading statesmen, set out to create a new national government designed to serve the interests of all people, rich and poor. My speeches, debates, and attempts at compromise made me popular with my peers. I was respected for my knowledge of the confederacies and the Articles of Confederation. I was responsible for 3 important writings: the Virginia Plan, the proposal for the thoroughly nationalistic frame of a government, and a 2-house legislature. The notes on the Federal Convention, which are the full records of the debates, and the Federalist Papers, a series of letters explaining the American constitutional system. Many historians believe that the Federalist Papers were my major contribution toward the ratification of the Constitution. I told the convention, the delegates, that they were considering a plan that, quote, would decide forever the fate of the Republican government, end quote. The Constitution was officially signed on September 17, 1787 at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. By supporting the Constitution, I angered many Virginians, but I rallied their confidence to later win a seat in the House of Representatives. Before retiring to my country estate, I also drafted the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, now known as the Bill of Rights, and I helped organize the Democratic-Republican Party. After a brief absence, I again ran for public office. I was first elected to the Virginia legislature,
next appointed as Secretary of State, and in 1809 elected President of the United States of America. After an 8-year presidential reign, the War of 1812, expansion and rededication, I again considered putting politics aside. My wife and I left Washington after the presidency to concern ourselves with the affairs of our estate. I can only hope that the legacy I leave to the American people will be one of conviction and perseverance, and that my efforts will be noteworthy and stand the test of time. Signed, James Madison, Father of the Constitution.
Proud parent.
The second place winner in the 5th grade is Brian Held.
Benjamin Franklin, the Founding Father. I, Benjamin Franklin, served my life as a printer, author, wit, scientist, inventor, diplomat, statesman, and as a founding father of the Constitution of the United States. I spent the last 36 years of my life suggesting a united form of government for the colonies. In 1754, I was a delegate to the Albany Congress. I presented my plan of union that would put all the colonies under one government. I was upset that the colonies did not accept my idea. In 1775, I was a delegate to the Second Continental Congress. We drafted the Declaration of Independence and signed it on July 4th, 1776. Later, my Albany Plan of Union was used to draft the Articles of Confederation. At the end of the Revolutionary War, it was clear that the Articles of Confederation weren't strong enough to hold our nation together. In 1786, a constitutional convention was called to change the Articles of Confederation. I was sent to the convention as a delegate from Pennsylvania. I was the oldest and most experienced delegate. I brought with me all my ideas and years of experience as a statesman and diplomat. I wanted to make sure the new government was as democratic as possible. I wanted it to be for the common people and not just the rich property owners. I wanted the government to respect the rights of each state and each person. I was too weak to take an active part in the debate, so I wrote speeches and had my fellow delegates read them for me. Delegates from the small states and large states argued over representation in Congress. Even though I preferred a one-house legislator, I finally supported and helped bring about the Great Compromise. Under this plan, which is in our Constitution, there is a two-house legislature, a Senate and a House of Representatives. The Senate has 2 representatives from each state. This policed the small states. The House is based on population. This policed the large states. Throughout history, leaders were assassinated when people wanted them replaced. I didn't like this, so I insisted that Congress have the right to impeach a president. This is included in the Constitution. The House impeaches and the Senate holds a trial. I also insisted that a president not have the last veto over actions of Congress. This would have made him all-powerful like a king. In the Constitution, a president's veto can be overruled by a 2/3 vote of Congress. On the final day of the convention, I wrote a speech urging all delegates to approve and sign our Constitution. I admitted that it was not perfect, but it was the best we could do. After hearing the speech, only 3 delegates refused to sign the document. Everything that happened in the convention was supposed to be secret, but somehow my last speech was sent out to all the states. My support of the Constitution helped the states to decide to approve it. During my 84 years, I was able to develop many of my ideas into real things. I'm especially proud that some of my ideas were used to write the Constitution. After nearly 200 years, I am pleased to see that the Constitution is still in use and working well. During the Constitutional Convention, I wondered and worried about the half-sun carved on the back of Washington's chair. As I watched the delegates sign the document, I finally knew that it was a rising and not a setting sun.
It was the beginning and not the end of our new nation.